We just got back from seeing Happytime Murders. I don't know who it was directed by. I don't really care anything about this movie at all. Chris?
Dave?
What would you give Happytime Murders? Out of 10?
Out of 10.
Yes.
1 being the worst movie on the planet, 10 being the greatest things ever.
Yeah.
I'd give this a 2.
Oh, 2. I'm going to go 1.5.
Okay.
1.5. This movie was painful. At one moment, we couldn't help but laugh just because...
I thought you were going to say 0 for some reason. That's why
We broke. It broke us during the middle. We were so miserable going, wait, how long have we been watching this movie? And I look at my clock. It's been 45 minutes, and it felt like 45 hours.
The movie was an hour and 31 minutes.
It was an hour and 31 minutes too long, too.
And at the 47-minute mark, I looked over at you, and you said, no looking. Like, this is
right.
Invisible wall. We don't talk about it. And then I looked back at the screen. I broke. I just went into hysterical laughing for no reason.
This was one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my entire life. It's supposed to be a comedy, but it's not. I laughed. I chuckled once, and that was it. I chuckled once, and the part you saw in the previews, if you saw the previews with the scene in the office, I laughed at it, not because I thought it was funny, but I thought, this is so stupid. That this is so awful. I can't believe I'm watching this.
So, real quick, I'll explain. So the movie is about a detective.
Mm-hmm. A puppet. Yeah, in this world, puppets are real.
Phil Phillips. Mm-hmm. And all these cast members from like an 80s show that had puppets on it.
Yeah.
They're all getting killed. And so he's just there to find the killer, and Melissa McCarthy plays his sidekick. That's the whole point of the movie.
And it's
highly unfunny. But also, it had some of the most cringeworthy punchlines and puns, and it was just so bad. It's really raunchy, crude, which it doesn't. Some of the raunchy behavior, comedy doesn't. It doesn't really like affect me in like a negative way. Like I enjoy raunchy comedies, crude humor, dark humor. I like all that. I mean,
Team America is one of our most favorite movies. Yeah.
And so from that standpoint, that's not what bothered me about the movie. What bothered me was it was completely unfunny.
Completely.
And just boring.
Awful.
I almost
Drag
fell asleep.
City. Let's say I would have walked out of this if we had not been doing this. I would have walked out of the movie. Easy. I wanted to walk out of the movie so bad. It would have been one of my third movie I've ever walked out of. This was painful to watch. It was abysmal. Yeah. Like you said, the punchlines were terrible. The jokes were terrible. The plot, the acting, everything. Sometimes the puppets, their mouths didn't even line up with the speech sometimes.
I don't care about that.
I don't care about that either, because that's the least of this movie's problems. I don't know who wrote the jokes to this, but never write another movie ever again. If this is the best talent you have, then just stop. Go be a roofer or something. Try some other talent, because this was...
Yeah, it was really, really poor attempt. I mean, just from the beginning setup, and I just remember thinking 5 minutes into it, like, is this really like the tone of the movie?
Yeah, it wasn't.
I mean, it's supposed to kind of feel like that. Like, I guess Lethal Weapon, like where there's like the narration,
right?
You know how like in Naked Gun where he's driving around,
that's what it felt like.
Oh, you know, like of course that's a hilarious movie, but this trying to have that feel and that tone, did not.
I feel the issues besides the jokes being terrible. It was they tried to make it too serious. They shouldn't have done that. You should have made it stupid. Like it should have been that zany airplane sort of humor, and I think that would have gone over a little more because. You were sold on the fact that like Muppets are in the real world, and they kept making jokes like, "Oh, I bleached my skin with bleach," or "Oh, I have fuzz on my body."
Like
alive
puppets,
right? Muppets, puppets, whatever. And I get it, but they kept making jokes off that point, and the jokes weren't funny. It was like, okay, I guess that's kind of smart the way you guys said that, but it's not. It doesn't make you laugh. It just makes you go, okay, it's a different way of putting it because they're puppets or Muppets or whatever. But I don't care. This is dumb. Where's the humor in this?
Yeah.
There was like one little part in the beginning with the cow. I chuckled at. I was like, okay, that's kind of funny.
I think I chuckled at that, which is probably why I gave it a 2.
Yeah, that's why I give it a 1.5. I would have given it a 1 otherwise.
And actually, how hard I was laughing just in general from our torture during the movie, because like just from me laughing, at the movie. I mean, literally at it.
Right. Some movies are bad, like The Room. Everyone laughs at it because it's so bad. But this is not that. This is painful to watch. This is so unfunny, so cringy. I mean, look, the biggest...
You can't turn this movie on and laugh and quote it because it's not that type
There's
of
nothing
movie.
to quote here.
No,
it's
not.
awful.
It's just...
I don't know. And I've been reading some reviews, and some of them have given it props. IGN gave it like, what, a 7.9?
7.9.
What were you smoking? This is awful.
IGN, they
stop
stink.
reviewing movies.
IGN's
Stick to games
bad,
or
dude. Like
something
they've
else.
given some of the most heinous scores to just horrible movie. I mean, heinous scores to incredible movies,
and
then vice versa. It's just like, what are you guys talking about?
Yeah, when the movie started, I nudged you and said, too many companies have put into this movie.
Oh, that was
like 6 or 7 companies. They're like, hey, we produced this.
It came up and it was like Black Bear Production, and then I don't know, another one, and we're like, oh, and another one, like 3, 4, 5, and it was
Wait a minute.
I think it may have been 6. It was 5 or 6.
Yeah, because there was one right at the very beginning of the movie.
Beginning, like Henson.
No one wanted this. No wonder.
And that just shows like how many people, I guess, try to pick it up and produce, then nobody would put all their money into it, I guess. I don't know.
I can't. Yeah. I cannot say stay away from this movie more than this one.
And it's kind of weird because
it has
a lot of the
potential.
actors in it are funny people.
Joel McHale's in it. Melissa McCarthy.
Joel McHale, Melissa McCarthy. She's been in some funny stuff.
Stanley from The Office, who's always great.
But I mean, what is he in besides The Office? But I mean, he's funny for his character in The Office. And then Maya Rudolph, she plays like the
secretary.
His
secretary. He's supposed to be a private eye.
Phil Phillips.
Who cares?
Secretary. And she can be funny. And nobody was funny. It felt like, I remember there was one part, I think when Joel McHale first came in to the police, not the police station,
private investigator,
to his office, and his acting was so wooden, and it felt like he was being held at gunpoint to say his lines. It felt like,
he was poor guy.
That's what it kind of seemed like, because he's been in shows and movies, and he has his own show and all that. And he's not, he doesn't deliver stuff like that. It just felt like he was just like, okay, here we go. I have to do this take, because
I don't know how anyone could put their name on this and be proud.
Those people could ad-lib funnier
Right.
Funnier dialogue than what was scripted out.
Exactly.
Yeah.
This was...
And there's a lot of work that went into the movie. Like, I mean, like, along with a lot of the puppets and everything else.
Right, a lot of CG work.
It was necessarily cheap, but...
Well, the writing was cheap.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying, like, the production itself, like, it wasn't... From that aspect, it wasn't necessarily, like, thrown together. It didn't really seem like that.
I've compared this movie to Sausage Party. Being Sausage Party was
I haven't
like...
seen it.
You haven't seen it, but it was kind of humorous in the first few minutes because you're like, oh, look, CG characters are cursing and being, you know, overtly sexual. Ha, ha, ha. But this humor goes flat real quick. And this movie didn't even start on that. It just went flat real quick. I think they thought, oh, we'll put a bunch of Muppet characters on the TV, make it really adult-like, and everyone will think it's funny. No, people aren't that stupid. Maybe some people are, whoever is reviewing this and saying it's good. But this movie isn't original. It's not funny. It's not smart. They thought it would be like Team America. No, Team America is actually funny. This isn't.
I did think when it first started, and like, I don't know, one of the first puppets he sees on the street when he's driving around, like, drops the F-bomb and says all, you know, it's cursing and all this language, and I didn't laugh. I thought, okay,
big deal.
But it did come off where they were just throwing language in there, just saying the F word to try to get a laugh, and like it doesn't work.
You have to build up to that. Like, you have to make them sweet and cuddly at first, and then unload. Holy crap! Like, they should have showed when they did that movie in the '80s, how everything is sweet and kind of nice. They should have started with that, and then built up to, hey, these people, this is their real lives. They're drug addicts. They're alcoholics. They're perverts. Whatever.
Within 5 minutes
of
the movie, he was in a a porn store or like an adult store.
Right. Save that for the middle of the movie.
Why in the beginning? It's just thrown at you, and like I said, didn't gross me out.
I just was like, okay.
All. That was one part we chuckled at real quick, but then it was just kind of like baffling. Like is that supposed to be funny?
One or two lines were like, okay, oh that's okay, huh? But that was it. The end.
Like taking the wit from like the Muppets movies.
Yeah, why not?
Those
do that?
are like they're funny.
They're funny.
Even the two that had come out, like there was the Muppets where they try to get everybody back, and then the second one, like Muppets Most Wanted
or whatever,
with Ricky Gervais. And the dialogue, there was so much in those movies that was just so funny and well done and witty, but this didn't have like that. I think
that's what they were trying to do. They were trying to do that and also make it adult-like. Well, then you should have stuck to that humor and added adult elements into it. Yeah, but you don't need to do that. You could have made it funny by its own right. Potty humor only goes so far. It's only funny for a second, and then it loses its luster.
It has to be done right too.
And this was not done right. It was drug. It was boring. You didn't care about the characters, the story, anything about
I feel like
it.
If anybody actually finds this funny for any reason, I would say watch it again, and I guarantee you're probably not going to like.
Yeah, give it a year and come back to it, and you're gonna be like, yeah, it's.
I feel like a lot of it is going to be shock value, where it's like, oh my gosh, I can't believe the puppet did that. But then watch it again, and you're gonna go, oh well, that's gone. You know, that's why a lot of like the shock comedy doesn't last, because you already know what happens, you've already heard it, so okay, well that doesn't actually have the balls behind it,
right?
But
totally agree. So, would you call this a rewatchable flick?
No,
neither would I.
No. Don't go to the movies. Don't waste your time.
Don't download it. Don't do anything. Stay away from this movie. It is an hour and a half of pure pain to watch. It's not entertaining
It was painful.
All.
It was painful.
It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen in my life. It's one of the worst comedies I've ever seen, if not the worst comedy I've ever seen. I can't think of a comedy that's worse than this.
Yeah, we might have to do a top 5 worst comedies.
Ever?
Our top 5 worst comedies.
Because this I can't think of a movie that's more unfunny than this. Put it in the comment section if you've seen. Please don't go see this.
I could think of worse movies.
Worst movies, but worst comedies? Ugh.
I'd have to really.
Oh man, movies that are actually sold as comedies, like this was, and marketed as something like a summer ha-ha flick. I cannot think of something that was more unfunny than this.
It was bad.
It gave me one tiny chuckle, and that was it. And the rest was boring, and I wanted to fall asleep and walk out.
I'd actually be curious if the Ghostbusters 2016 was funnier than this.
Yeah, but I didn't see that, nor will I ever see it.
I've seen it.
Oh, you have?
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
I don't know. It might be a hair funnier than this, but that's not saying much. Like I think I would have given that Ghostbusters reboot a 3. Yeah, I would have given it a 3, and this is a 2. So Ghostbusters has its beat. So this might be one of the worst comedies I've ever seen.
I can't think of one. So.
Even if it was on TV, I wouldn't even be like, oh yeah, actually watch this part real quick. No, I would immediately turn the channel. This is I will have forgotten about this movie.
I hope
in an hour.
I'm gonna drink a lot, so I do forget about it.
I don't even remember any of the really poor punchlines and jokes because they were so forgettable. And just at the time of them saying it in the movie, it hurt, and then I forgot about it because it was that unfunny.
We're not going to do a discussion video on this because there's nothing to discuss. No. Don't go see this movie. It's horrible.
It's not worth paying money for. It's not worth renting.
We wasted our money. Love you, Chris.
I love you, Dave.